Good morning. Today is Thursday, September 12th, 2024. And we are smack in the middle of the greatest story Hashem ever told. I'm just going to wait a minute to see if anybody joins me. Okay, I see one person. Who are you? It is so beautiful outside today. Okay, I see 4 people. Hi, Karina. You on the train? Boker Tov. Okay, now I could start. I don't feel like I'm talking to nobody. Hi, Steve. Hi, Choice Times. Thank you so much, you guys. Hi, Betty. Hi, Irma. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Chase. We're going to be in the forest next week. Hi, Rose. Hi, Ruthie. We made it. All right, guys, we got a crew. So today, so you know how I start off by saying we're smack in the middle of the greatest story Hashem ever told? One of my favorite pastimes is trying to figure out concepts from the Torah and applying them to real life. Like these abstract, amorphous words in the Torah that have no real concrete definition. And then all of a sudden, like this week, it happened to me, and I was listening to Rabbi Gozlan. I was texting with Ani. I was like, I can't believe I had this lightning hit me, and I just had to share it. I had to share it with her, and her validation means a lot to me. So she was like, yes. And what I understood for the first time was, what is Zuhama? This term for what the snake injected into Chava after they ate from the tree. So, and I also know this from Rabbi Kessin, that he said to me his favorite pastime, one of his favorite pastimes, is connecting Torah, the ancient, with the modern. And it is such an electric moment when you're like, oh, you have like actual concrete das, concrete understanding on a new level of something biblical, and you can apply it. So I want to share that with you guys today. It's going to come up in the notes when I read Rabbi Gozlan to you. There was this meme that I came across this week. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it. But it went like this. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Eileen. That there is many levels to this great awakening that we all have gone through. And the title of this class is that I'm dumbfounded at the depth of the depravity of this enemy. I'm also dumbfounded how dumb they are. That's a separate issue. The first level of awakening, one of the first levels, is like, oh my gosh, these people are greedy. They just want to get rich, and they want our money, and the vaccine is all about them making money. And then you're like, and then that gets replaced with the next layer of awakening, where you're like, oh my God, they want to depopulate the planet. They're out to harm us physically. They're out to kill us. They're out to maim us, injure us. And that's another level. They're like, oh my God, it's not about the money for them. It's something more. And then another level hits you. It's like, oh, they want our souls. They want us disconnected from God. That's the real aim. They want full power. They want to usurp power from God, from the throne. They want the power. And how do they get the power? Is by disconnecting us, the divine beings, from Creator, from Source, from Hashem. So those are the layers to go through till you realize the depth of the depravity of this enemy, the Samach Mem enemy, the negative energies, entities that hijack the planet. So I'm going to talk all about that in with Rabbi Gozlan's notes also. But it says and this my friend Shaul helped me find it, of Garments of Esav, Shaul. He helped me find the wording. It says in Zohar, Va'atil ba Zuhama, that the snake injected Eve. Injected. It's always translated as injected. And that should have been our first clue in 2020. The problem is that the Zohar was hidden from us intentionally by the same enemy. The Zohar was made to be taboo. The Zohar was made to be only for certain people and a certain time. And there was a certain Kabbalah derangement syndrome around it that made you not want to go near it, that made people go crazy when you even spoke about going near Zohar. And now I understand better why Zohar is the key to regaining our spiritual vision that was lost from the Zuhama. The Zohar is the antidote to the Zuhama. The Zuhama, whatever it was, whatever injectable thing that the serpent did to us, its effect was to disconnect us from Creator, to make us see only the physical world and not the spiritual world. And what the Kabbalah does is it restores your glasses. Every week we read it, we're glimpsing past the veil together. We're reading past the veil and using our imaginations to imagine back what was lost from the Zuhama. And I was reaching out to friends also this week. Yes, Chase. I was reaching to friends who are very involved in waking people up to the dangers of the vax. And I was like, what was that thing under the microscope? And none of them could remember, but there was like this floating octopus thing inside the vaccine that had self-awareness, that when they looked at this woman, Dr. Carrie Medej, I think her name was, she was one of the big ones in studying the contents under the microscope of the vax. And she said, when she looked at this thing, it kind of looked back at her. And hey, Hiroko. So this is the connection that I made, that the snake injected Adam and Eve with some kind of technology that made them lose their spiritual sight, made them hybrids, made them more like a transhuman. It was the first transhuman injection where it took them out of their complete state of spirituality. It made them, I don't want to say machine, like half human, half machine, but maybe it was that. I don't know. I still have to think about it some more. Maybe you guys have some ideas of your own. But that was the insight, the stroke of insight that I had, was that they were playing the same game in 2020 that they played back in the garden, that the serpent played back in the garden. And this time they came for all humanity. It's something in hindsight to really behold that they actually got the entire planet on board with the same agenda in every country on the planet. They were pushing this thing. The Samach Mem made a run for it one last time with something injectable. Injectable. With the same objective to disconnect us from our spiritual connection to God. The vaccine, the vax, what is the Zuhama? What is the Zuhama? And what is the antidote? It is not going to be soaking in a bath. It's maybe also that, but it's gonna mostly be recovering your spiritual vision through Zohar, and that this is why Zohar will bring Geula, because Zohar is the antidote to the Zuhama. It is the reconnection after the disconnection. All right. All right, let's go into the notes. This is what I want to do today, you guys. I want to read the notes, Rabbi Gozlan's notes, which are amazing. And then I want to read to you one thing from the Zohar that I loved. I went back to Parshas Vayakel that I had to make up some reading from there. And then we're going to read from Chanoch. Okay. Yes, Chase. I think that the good guys, this is a very good point that you made. I think that the good guys got a hold of the Zuhama before it was distributed. I think that was part of Operation Warp Speed, that he pushed the bad guys to, they wanted to, I think the long plan was they wanted to unleash the vaccine 2030, but Agenda 2030, but he forced them to do it sooner. The White Hats, and in doing so, it was a much watered down version of Zuhama. It was not effective. It was hardly effective. Right, Zuhama creates the delusion of lack. I agree, choice times. Okay, so Rebbe Gozlan, on this week's Parsha of Ki Teitzei. This week's Parsha is brought to us by the Raya Mehamana inside the Zohar. And Rabbi Gozlan says, there is no sin as serious as slander. Slander is the worst sin. We learn this from the Meraglim, the spies who were sent into the land. The day that they brought back this slander to the people is the same day that the two temples were later on destroyed. So the question becomes, if Hashem is merciful, how come we have such strong punishments? What is going on? So the answer is this. The slander that the spies brought back generated so much sorrow, so much fear, so much collective terror that suddenly everybody started anticipating bad events. They used their imagination to anticipate the worst. And what is the law of the universe? The law of the universe is that it must deliver on that generated emotion. The universe must create an event according to the emotion. This is Esther Hicks 101. This is the law of attraction. There's a great secret here, said Rabbi Gozlan. We need to anticipate events inside the emotion of great joy. He said the story needs to be told in reverse. You first start with the emotion. You must start with the emotion and then end in the event. He said the emotion must be real. You cannot fake it. So anytime we have a great punishment, a very severe punishment, it came from anticipating a penalty that the slander generated. Started with the slander, next came the emotion, next came the event. And I once heard Esther Hicks took a lot of heat because somebody was asking her why the Holocaust happened. And this is big, you guys, and this is a hard pill to swallow. But Jews are fed such a victimhood narrative. If you go on social media, it'll take you about 1 second to see it. That how we are always oppressed, how we are always, in every generation, where they come after us, the more we keep anticipating it, the more it keeps coming. And this is where Rabbi Gozlan said something amazing. He said, Hasidim came and changed the game. Rabbi Nachman, the Baal Shem Tov, they came and they were singing and dancing for no reason. Singing and dancing for no reason. Why? Why were the Hasidim doing this? They understood that we need to recalibrate the cosmos to the emotion of joy for no reason. If we could have fear for no reason, we have to have joy for no reason. Rabbi Gozlan said Murphy's Law is wrong. Murphy's Law, or everything that can go wrong, does go wrong, goes against Kabbalah. We need to say everything that can go right will go right. Okay, then he goes on to a new, very interesting topic about Queen Esther. He said, there's a pasuk that says, slanderers slander the earth. Slanderers slander the earth. The earth is talking about the female. The female that this is talking about is Queen Esther. Because people who only understand the Peshat of Torah, the literal translation of Torah, might come to slander Queen Esther and say that she slept with Achashverosh, a pagan king. Right? I mean, that's how I always understood it. But then when we're taught the sod of Torah, which is why we need the sod before we need the Peshat. We need the deepest before we come back to the literal. Which is why we need Zohar. So Queen Esther, with the story that really, really happened to her, the sod story of Queen Esther was Hashem hid her. Hashem, her name is Esther, from saser, hidden. Hashem took Queen Esther and hid her. And in her place created a demon. This is what Rabbi Gozlan called it. I've heard it called a doppelganger. He created a demon and put this other created entity in the king's bed. Was it a clone? I don't know. So Rabbi Gozlan says, fortunate are those who see through the chaff to the grain, through the literal text to the mystical text, because you will not come to slander Queen Esther. Next topic. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai made the cosmic reparation. This is big. That Mashiach will not die or be murdered. Mashiach will survive and he will live. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai made the reparation to the cosmos. There was a type of angel jealous of the human body, the corporeal body. This angel was jealous of the 5 senses of the body. What was his name? I think you guys know. The Samach Mem. What does he do? He incites us to war. Why? He wants to prove to Hashem that Hashem was wrong for creating man. So this angel creates all kinds of chaos for us to overcome. He creates hatred between people, forces man to waste the vital energy of life, the seed. Number 3, this angel distances man from the Zohar, so the man will have a hardened heart. What is the main tool of this angel? This angel uses astral influence, electromagnetic energy, to affect human emotion. That's the game. That's his game. It is written that Hashem will take these angels out of the world. This angel specifically, the Samach Mem, along with his companions, Azza and Azael. Why was this world ensured survival? How was this world ensured survival? Hashem gave us the Torah in this world, a trans-dimensional document of instructions and weapons, spiritual weapons. We do not understand the Torah until the Kabbalist unravels it for us and teaches us how to transcend the astral karma created by the negative forces. In the end of time, at the end of 6th millennium, which is now, Rabbi Gozlan said now, Hashem will bring mashiach and give mashiach an elevation, an ibur, superior to that of Moshe Rabbeinu. Mashiach teaches us how to stop feeding our emotion, our negative emotion, to those angels, the Lush, so they die of starvation. And the world is freed, liberated from the yoke of manipulation. Mashiach is totally and completely led by Hashem, so he will not fail. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu is the reincarnation of, do you guys remember? Moshe Rabbeinu is the reincarnation of Hevel, of Abel. Okay, remember that. Hevel was killed by Cain. Who was Cain? Cain was not the son of Adam and Eve. Cain was the product of Eve and the serpent. He injected her with something and they created Cain. So the serpent was the residue. I'm just having a thought come in now. Serpent was the residue of the worlds God created and destroyed previously, because those worlds relied only on technology to the exclusion of God. So he injected Eve with something that created Cain from leftover technology of worlds that excluded God, that only relied on technology. I mean, can't we understand this now? After 2020 and everything we've been through, can't we understand how they manipulate technology to alter life to the exclusion of God? So the Zuhama, this is my interpretation, not Rabbi Gozlan, the Zuhama was implanted technology, injected technology that created a being that was disconnected from God. And that's the highest level of spiritual awakening. It wasn't for the money. It wasn't even for the depopulation. It wasn't even for the physical harm. It was to inject us with something that would continue the process of disconnecting us from God. So to reverse the vaccine, and I heard Sherry Tenpenny say this like 3 years ago at a Reawaken America tour that I went to with my sister Miriam. I heard Sherry Tenpenny say that the real cure to the injection is a spiritual one, is to find your true connection back to Hashem, and that is the Zohar, is to put back your spiritual vision, restore the connection between this world and the other world, the spiritual world, to make the connection between the two, to see how they interplay off of each other. Right, Ruthie. The Zohar is everywhere. You just Google it. It's everywhere. It's covering the face of the world like water. That's prophecy. Rabbi Gozlan said, God said, do not eat from that tree. Why? Why weren't they supposed to eat from that tree? Because it will contaminate you with dark technology. This dark technology will harm you and cause you to lose your spirituality. Abel was 100% pure spirituality, and Moshe Rabbeinu was the reincarnation of Hevel. Cain was pure technology. So what did Cain do? When he killed Abel, he killed spirituality. And then we had to live 6,000 years to recover this lost spirituality. Rabbi Gozlan said, if Cain hadn't been born, Abel would have been mashiach. But he says, God wanted Cain. He wanted that reality. God wanted to create a world where good and evil coexist. Why? Because here in this world, the law of affinity is suspended. Meaning, in other worlds, good can only be with good and evil can only be with evil. But in this world, there is no law of affinity. It is suspended. So good and evil are housed inside our bodies, and it is us that can take evil and transform it to good. Nowhere else in the cosmos can they do this. We are the heroes of the galaxy. In the end, good triumphs over evil because we process the evil through our system, in us and through us. We transformed it. Without even knowing we're doing this with spiritual amnesia. What a game we're playing. The Rebbe Gozlan says, the greatest gift Hashem can give us is to restore us back our spiritual sight. And that's what the Zohar does. The Samach Mem Samael was the angel who hijacked the serpent in the Garden of Eden. His objectives were to destroy creation, destroy the human being, and take power away from God. The Samach Mem exercises his power through the stars. This is a very powerful concept. The stars deliver us a reality based on the emotion we feed it. The stars generate circumstances that transform into energy packets. These energy packets transform into circumstances on Earth. And this is the path the evil forces use to harm the world. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, swore to destroy the Samach Mem. Rabbi Gozlan said the great secret of the Jewish people is the strongest weapon of the Jewish people is their calendar, the holidays. The holidays transform negative astral energies to positive. He said Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday are considered negative days, and you should not start projects or sign contracts. He said Mars exerts its influence on those days, but Tuesday is a good day, good radiation day. Friday and Sunday are good days. The mitzvahs, the 613 precepts in the Torah, and the Jewish holidays are a shield to the cosmic attack of the Samach Mem. The Jewish people keeping Torah, keeping the holidays, and we have big ones coming up soon, protects the entire world from cosmic aggression. The other nations of the world need to tell the Jews to dedicate, remind the Jewish people, dedicate yourselves to fulfilling this duty. Because thanks to your calendar, the world lives shielded. That's a big one. Rabbi Gozlan ended with, we are in exile. What is this exile? It is an exile of ignorance. It is not an exile from a country or a place. Geula, redemption, is the return to wisdom. Wisdom is how we come out of exile. Let me just see if I got everything. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, those were the notes. Okay. So the enemy wanted to impair our ability to see spiritual worlds. So what are we going to do? Restore our ability to see spiritual worlds. Look at that. The Sunsino, the Zohar Sunsino. Are you there, Chase? I'm going to read to you guys from, this is volume 4, Parshas Vayakhel, page 237. Okay. Okay. I actually have the Hebrew next to the English. I'm going to follow along with both. He next discoursed on the verse. Then they that feared the Lord spoke one with another, and the Lord hearkened and heard, and a book of remembrance was written before him. For them that fear the Lord. and that thought upon his name. This is from Malachi 3:16. I'm going to read it in the Hebrew. Sachmi Amar, Az nidberu yirei Hashem ish el re'ehu v'yakshev Hashem v'yishma v'yachasev sefer zikaron lefanav liyirei Hashem l'chashvei shemo. That's the verse. So the question here on this verse, there's a difficulty here. The verse, he said, presents a difficulty because it uses the word nidberu. They were spoken. Instead of dibru, they spoke. What it signifies, however, is the repetition of the words spoken on earth, in the upper world. The words we are speaking now about Zohar, nidberu, they are spoken, they travel, and they're spoken on high. By who? By all the sacred hosts and legions. For the words of the holy law, the holy Torah spoken here below, ascend on high, where multitudes come to meet them and take them up and present them before the Holy King. There to be adorned with many crowns, woven of the supernal radiances. All of these words are then self-spoken. The words themselves, you guys, travel. Nidberu, nidberu. Look at the Hebrew. It's amazing. So much in that one word. These words are self-spoken, as it were, before the Most High King. Whoever saw such joy, whoever witnessed such praises as mount up into all those heavens at the moment these words ascend, while the king looks on them and crowns himself with these words. They spring up and down. They settle, as it were, on Hashem's bosom for him to disport himself with them. Whence they ascend towards his head and are woven there into a crown. So these words land on Hashem's heart and then they go to his head as a crown. Hence the words spoken by the Torah in Proverbs 8:30, and I would be playing always before him, is talking about these words. In the verse cited there in Proverbs is twice mentioned, them that fear the Lord. The first mention indicates the men themselves that are here below. The second mention of Yirei Hashem is their images as reflected in their words. Their words, we are the Medabrim, the words that ascend on high. This esoteric doctrine is found where, you guys? This esoteric doctrine is found in the book of Enoch, the book of Chanoch, where it says that all the words of exposition uttered by the righteous on earth are adorned with crowns. It's so holy. It's just so holy. And arrayed before the Holy One, blessed be He. Sorry. They then descend and come up again before his presence in the image of the man, the righteous man who gave expression to them. Hi. Sorry, you guys. Okay. Okay. These words that we're speaking right now, are then inscribed in a book of remembrance before Hashem, so as to endure forevermore. And they that thought upon Hashem's name is an allusion to those that meditate on the words of Torah, in order thereby to cleave to their master through an insight into the divine name, so as to know Hashem and become equipped with the wisdom of Hashem's name on their heart. It is written, and above the firmament that was over their heads was the appearance of a sapphire stone, the likeness of a throne. Ezekiel 1:26. This firmament, said Rabbi Shimon, is the lower firmament, as you companions have explained. Happy is my portion, and happy is your portions. Since, as regard the supernal firmament, there is no one who can discern it. Above that lower firmament, then there is the sapphire stone, that precious jewel by which it is adorned. It says the likeness of a throne, and not the throne. For there is a throne and there is the throne. The term the throne would signify the supernal throne, which is undisclosed and beyond all knowledge and all comprehension. Hence it says here, a throne, to wit, the lower throne of Hashem. The verse continues, and upon the likeness of the throne was a likeness as the appearance of man. Why does it say, again, the language? We have to look at the language here. Why does it say both likeness and appearance? Double language. When likeness would have been enough. The explanation is that the term likeness alludes to the higher throne, the higher glory, the image of man, whereas the word appearance embraces the likeness generated by the words of Torah exposition and mystical doctrines. So the double language is, the one of them is talking about the actual appearance of man, and the other one is talking about the appearance generated by your words of Torah and Zohar. These words ascend and are crowned on high, and afterwards assume the image of man, of those righteous ones who crown them, for the delight of the Holy One, blessed be He. And you, companions, behold, The Holy One rejoices himself with those words that you uttered. And you are standing now before your master as represented by your holy images. Our words go up, you guys, and they are our representatives. The words leave our mouth, they travel up, they come back down, retrieve our image, bring our image back up to Hashem. For when I saw you and looked well at your inward forms, I saw that you were stamped with the mystical impress of Adam. And so I knew that your image is stationed on high. In this way, the righteous are destined in the future. With this impress, with this seal, in this way, the righteous are destined in the future to be distinguished in the eyes of all men and to make their holy countenance manifest before all the world. It is thus written in Isaiah 51:9, all that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed the Lord has blessed. Okay, you guys, let's go to Chanoch. And I got my Chanoch in the mail from Etsy. This is my Hebrew Chanoch. Still a little bit intimidating. I'm going to try to get to a point where I could read to you in Hebrew from it. In the meantime, I'm going to stick with the English. Yes, Sydney. Even scanning the Hebrew holy letters is putting an impress on you. It's putting a stamp on your soul. That will become visible later. When mashiach needs our help, it is the words of the Zohar that we spoke that will make us worthy of helping mashiach, of being on mashiach's team. Chapter 22b. There is a court before, Book of Chanoch, there is a court before the throne of glory. Which no seraph nor angel can enter. This must be the higher throne. And it is 360,000 myriads of parasangs, as it is written in Isaiah. The seraphim are standing above him. The last word of the scriptural passage being Lamed Vav 36. As the numerical value 36, the number of bridges that are there. And there are 24 myriads of wheels of fire, and the ministering angels are 12,000 myriads. And there are 12,000 rivers of hail and 12,000 treasuries of snow. And in the 7 halls are chariots of fire and flames without reckoning, end, or searching. Rabbi Yishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of presence, said to me, how are the angels standing on high? He said, like a bridge that is placed over a river so that everyone can pass over it. Likewise, a bridge is placed from the beginning of the entry until the end. And 3 ministering angels surround it and utter a song before Hashem, the God of Israel. And there are standing before it lords of dread and captains of fear, 1,000 times 1,000 and 10,000 times 10,000 in number, and they sing praise and hymns before Hashem. Numerous bridges are there, bridges of fire and numerous bridges of hail, also numerous rivers of hail, numerous treasuries of snow, and numerous wheels of fire. This is what's going on over there, you guys. And how many are the ministering angels? 12,000 myriads. 6,000 above and 6,000 below, and 12,000 are the treasuries of snow. 6 above and 6 below, and 24 myriads of wheels of fire, 12 myriads above and 12 myriads below. This is interesting that there's a throne above and a throne below. We just read that. I love when what we choose to read in Zohar then connects to what we're randomly reading in Hanoch. And they surround the bridges and rivers of fire and the rivers of hail. And there are numerous ministering angels forming entries for all the creatures that are standing in the midst thereof, corresponding to the path of Rakia Shamayim. What does Hashem, the God of Israel, what doeth Hashem, the God of Israel, the King of glory, the great and fearful God, mighty in strength, does cover his face. In our Ravos are 660,000 myriads of angels of glory standing over against the throne of glory and the divisions of flaming fire. And the King of glory does cover his face. For else the Aravos Rakia would be rent asunder in its midst because of the majesty, splendor, beauty, radiance, loveliness, brilliancy, brightness, and excellency of the appearance of the Holy One, blessed be he. Hashem has to cover his face because it would be too much for all of the angels. There are numerous ministering angels performing God's will, numerous kings, numerous princes in the Aravos of his delight, angels who are revered among the rulers in heaven, distinguished, adorned with song, and bringing love to remembrance, who are affrighted by the splendor of the Shekhinah, and their eyes are dazzled by the shining beauty of their king. Their faces grow black, and their strength does fail. There go forth rivers of joy, streams of gladness, rivers of rejoicing, streams of triumph, rivers of love, streams of friendship, of commotion. They flow over and go forth before the throne of glory and wax great and go through the gates of the path of our Ravos Rakia at the voice of the shouting and music of the Chayot, at the voice and rejoicing of the timbrels of the Ofanim, and at the melody of the cymbals of the Keruvim. And they wax great and go forth with commotion, with the sound of the hymn, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaos, Melo chol haaretz kevodo. Okay, you guys, thank you for being here with me today. Hiroko, Karina, Irma, Chase. I really appreciate you sharing in this emotion with me, the intense emotions. The emotions are intensifying. We're getting so close, you guys. I don't think we're getting to an election. I think we're going to see miracles very soon. Stay optimistic. Know that everything that was taken from us, physically, emotionally, spiritually, by the other side, will be restored to us. At the moment of Har Sinai, Hashem, it says Hashem took out the Zuhama. The Zuhama was removed. Whatever this negative technology that was injected into the human body, Hashem in a second can remove it. So have no fear. If you have any loved ones, or if you yourself took the vaccine, don't worry, don't stress. Hashem can reverse it in a second. You can reverse it just by connecting to Hashem through the Zohar, through learning the Zohar, through restoring your spiritual vision, which is what the Zuhama took from us. But it is cool to understand in technological terms what the Zuhama was and what it did. To relate it to modern times, to relate the ancient to the modern. Next week, I'm traveling to the forest with Nancy. She's going to host us in the forest retreat in Georgia. Chase is coming. Avivit and Hal are coming. So it's going to be me, Nancy, and I think Ruthie might come still. Ruthie, you might come? So I will be broadcasting in some way, shape, or form from the forest. And I will definitely let you know through Telegram and through Facebook which day. I'm not even sure which day, because Thursday I'm traveling next week. So it might be Wednesday, it might be Friday, depending on if I can get online. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you from the forest.